Mr. Chair.
I'll take Ian Lees-Galloway.
Very much, Mr. Chair. Who remembers that fateful night when the sword finally fell on Don Brash and John Key moved as swiftly as possible to see Bill English off at the pass? He came out and he announced that he was ambitious for New Zealand. He was ambitious for New Zealand. Well, where has all the ambition gone, Mr. Chair? Where has that ambition gone? Because this government has lost their focus, their ambition on getting people into jobs and making sure people are paid well for those jobs. There is no job strategy. There is no strategy for growing jobs. There is no strategy for growing our economy. The only thing they can think of to try and get young people into work is to cut their wages. Well, David Bennett knows that that is old thinking. That is thinking from the past, because David Bennett said when he was speaking against this exact proposal, when it was proposed by Roger Douglas, it is looking at things in a historical perspective. Well, the world has moved on. Well, in fact, the world has moved on, but all this national government can do, so bereft of ideas that they are, is to look back into history for failed examples of ways to try and get people into work. It failed before and it will fail again. David Bennett knew that, he still knows it, and yet for some reason he will be voting for this bill to carry on today. Mr. Speaker, under Nationals Watch, 72,000 young Kiwis aged between 18 and 30 have headed to Australia looking for better job opportunities. And what else are they looking for? Better wages, of course, because in Australia they do pay a decent wage. They will get a decent wage, and there is actually a strategy in New Zealand to get more people into higher skilled, better paying jobs. This is a bill that simply reflects Nationals' absolute loss of ambition. They have no plan to get young people working. They have no plan to get young people into apprenticeships. They have no plan to get people higher skills. They have no plan to develop a high-skill, high-wage economy. And what do they have instead? This meagre, pathetic bill that absolutely lacks any sort of ambition. But don't ask me, Mr. Chair. Don't ask me. Ask David Bennett. Ask David Bennett, who said, we are denying them their success by holding them at a lower rate than their ability shows as individuals. And that actually is why Labor fundamentally opposes this bill, because it allows a form of discrimination that absolutely is not justified. It says to a young person that because of their age and their age alone, they can be discriminated against. Mr. Sabin? Mike Sabin says we'd hate to see any growth in job numbers. Mr. Sabin, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs, Mr. Sabin? There are no jobs. That's exactly what this bill reflects. If there were jobs for people to go to, there would be no necessity for this bill at all. Because if there were jobs, then there would be proper competition in the market for wages and people would be working. But this will not create new jobs. This will simply shift older people out of the workforce, because employers will be able to take a job that they offer to someone who actually qualifies for the full adult rate and give that job to a young person who does not qualify for the full adult rate. It does not create new jobs. The only way a young person will get a job as a result of this bill is if somebody else is pushed out of the labour market, Mr. Sabin. That is the only way. Mr. Sabin can sit there and say rubbish and nonsense as much as he likes, but he knows it's not true. He hasn't actually come up with a single argument in favour of this bill. Plenty of employers want to give a young person a chance. Why not pay them for the work that they will do? Why not pay them the rate that they deserve, Mr. Sabin? We're not talking about a charity here. We are talking about paid employment, the dignity of proper paid employment, where a young person can go to work and know that they will be treated in the same way as anybody else in that job. That is the dignity that we're talking about, not about saying to young people they are second-class citizens and do not deserve to get the rate of pay that anybody else in that workplace would be getting. This bill reflects a soft lack of ambition from the National Party, who want to trap young people in low-skill, low-wage jobs.
Simon O'Connor.
Chair, look, we've had great theatrical speeches.